All right. Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Welcome to the third Facebook Live by Open Love. We're hosting a class that's coming up next week on Wednesday, on November 28th. It's called Open Love: The Pursuit of Poly Happiness, or Open Happiness. And today we have Maria Palumbo, who's going to be one of our co-teachers, and she's going to be teaching us, not today, but in a few weeks, she's going to be teaching us about empowered relationships. So Maria popped in my radar a few months ago as somebody who had a lot of things to say that a lot of people thought it was really cool, and I started paying attention. And she's been through a lot. If you check out her bio, you'll see that, and of course you can tell us more about it, Maria. And and she's in an open relationship with her husband. Are you guys married?
Yes.
With her husband Steve, and it's been a journey. So I think that's what you post most about. What is your journey, moment to moment to moment? And I think that's what pulls people in. Is it's real, it's authentic, and it brings up stuff in people. Sometimes good stuff, sometimes difficult stuff to process, and it causes people to respond and engage. And I think that's where all the growth process is in the engagement, especially when it's safe enough to when the engagement is safe enough to figure out what to do next. So, welcome, Maria.
Thank you. Thank you for that intro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tell us about your experience of poly and open relating. What did that start? How did you get started?
I'd like to say that I started in a sophisticated manner, but it wasn't sophisticated at all. I had an inkling in my heart deep down that I was poly probably for the majority of my life, but I pushed it down. So anything that we repress comes back and rages like a demon, or a bat out of hell. So I pressed it down for so long, it raged out, and it came out as me having an affair. A year ago, had an affair, realized I was polyamorous, had to destroy everything, destroy my marriage, burned it to the ground so that we could rise as the phoenix from the ashes and create something new. And if I were to tell, if my past self could see me now, I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't believe that there was a year that has gone by where I started off as being full of shame, fear, full of confusion, full of self-doubt, full of guilt, full of I felt weird about my sex because it came out in this way that really hurt my husband. And I remember I turned to my mother and my sister for support, and I love them. They're incredible human beings. And yet when I told them that I thought I might be polyamorous, my sister was you're no longer the godmother of my children. And my mother was like, you're going to kill yourself. You're going to kill Steve. You're going to kill you. Is that what you want to do? And I was already feeling like shit because I had the affair. And I'm like, God, I don't deserve anything. I don't deserve my husband. I don't deserve a lover. I don't deserve shit. I'm a terrible human. And then I go to my family and they're not able to support me. So I did so much work and built so much connection with my husband and connection with myself to be where I am today. And I'm really excited to share what I learned, what I had to go through in order to be in this place of empowered relating.
Yeah, that leads me to the next question. So what are the kernels of wisdom that you've sort of gathered over the months, I guess, over the 1 year? But I'm sure some of those originated from way longer before. You started learning or integrating bits and pieces that you needed, and that finally integrated into you in this last year. So I'm just curious about that.
So one thing that I learned was we could not have an open relationship with the same relationship dynamic of monogamy, and not just monogamy, but the same dynamic of potentially fearing time apart, fearing other connections, being a little overly connected where we were connected at the hip. There was codependency happening. We seemed like we were the perfect, happy couple, and we were, but underneath that, we didn't really have a strong identity. We didn't know who we were separate. Even our finances, everything was really muddy. So in order to begin the journey, we had to start peeling off the false layer of our relationship, like this thing that we were putting on because we thought, well, this is good. We're moral people. We were monogamous, where you do the right thing, right? We had to like start peeling that off and looking at, oh my God, like I thought I was really happy, but like we've been so merged and we've been so like unhealthy, and I've been like mothering you, and like we looked at all these unhealthy relationship dynamics and we started to pull them apart and decide that we had to create something new. So the first thing I would say that was really important, like a little nugget of wisdom, is be willing to create something totally new. It's not going to be what it was, and it actually has the potential to be so much better than it was before.
So tell me more about that. What's the new? Tell me about the transformation, a little bit more about the transformation, because you know obviously you're in a new place, and you sort of named some of the things that you wanted to let go of. So tell us more about like the qualities of new that is in your relationship right now.
There was this thing happening where I was hiding in my husband. I wasn't traveling out without him. I wasn't really thinking without him. Everything I did was him, my best friend, everywhere. Everything I did was him. And I was really losing myself. Like, who am I outside of Steve? Who am I as a person? Who am I walking down the street alone? And I hadn't gone on a trip without him. So a lot of me gaining who I was and him gaining who he was giving ourselves space to like figure out who we are and what we want. Like we even took like 3 weeks where I came to California before I decided to move out here, where I had to depend on myself and be with myself in a whole new way that I wasn't doing before. So creating something new looks like, how am I falling asleep? How am I hiding in my partner? And how can I actually wake up and be truly who I am, be my sovereign being, while still being connected to this person, while still loving this person and loving myself? So we're taking the focus off of how do I love this person to how am I loving myself? Because if I'm not loving myself well, then I'm not going to be loving this person well. And I'm going to be like going through the motions and then ultimately fucking us over because I'm going through the motions and not really knowing myself. So love, knowing self first, and then looking at how can I be healthier in this dynamic and not just fall asleep and go unconscious and let them take care of everything and let me take care of everything. Because we both were going unconscious. I like went into overdrive with his emotions, like being overly responsible, figuring everything out. Other way, like financially, we're just planning our future, and he would take over. And we realized like we can't keep falling asleep in these roles. We got to step out of these roles and live in this terrified but yet fully alive, fully turned on place where we are who we are, and we're no longer taking care of each other in a way that's not healthy.
Beautiful. Some of the theme that kind of rang true to me as you were speaking: individuation, awakening, sovereignty, and self-love.
Yeah, the sovereignty piece was terrifying for me because I've always prided myself in being a good girlfriend. It's like, I'm a good girlfriend. Like that was my identity. I'm a good girlfriend. I'm a great girlfriend. I'll sacrifice anything for that person. You know, if I fall in love with someone else, sacrifice it. Like if I want something else, sacrifice it. I'm always catering to my partner. And then people see me as like, oh, wow, she's a good girlfriend. Oh, wow, like I'm a good wife. I'm these good things. And I started getting my identity from being really good, being really trusting, being really stable. And in that, I just really lost like, okay, yes, I might be a good wife, but am I really a good wife? And what is truly being good? And how can I actually be more alive instead of stuck on this idea of being good that's ever elusive and ever changing?
So here's a question for you, because that's shown up for me in relating just with my wife, with my lovers, even with my son, is what's a good balance of self-care and other care? Like, how do you know you found that balance? Because I think that's a difficult, that's a challenge for anyone who has to love many people, including self. It's like, where do you forget yourself and you no longer take care of your own needs? And where do you take care of yourself way too much that it becomes egocentrical? So
Yeah, I think
what's
that's
that? Striking that balance feels to me like that's part of the practice. And I'm curious what you've learned in that area as a form of empowered relating.
mm-hmm. Wow, that's such a beautiful question. I want to like talk about that forever. So I'm going to talk about that in many different facets. And let's start off in one piece. So like the very simple, linear, like visceral way of realizing and understanding that I'm taking care of myself, but it's not hurting anybody else is like, I know that when I take care of myself and tap into my being, I'm actually showing up really awake, really alive, really turned on. And it's not as if I'm not seeking approval, but I'm also not ignoring someone. I have this really beautiful balance where I can feel really intimate. They're not overwhelming me. I'm not like overwhelmed because I haven't taken care of myself. And I'm like, oh my God, all this love, what am I going to do? Oh my God, you want to spend time with me? Like, if I don't spend time with myself, like if I don't wake up and do some sort of anything for myself, whether it be like looking at my vision board, like visualizing my future, breathing, like if I wake up and not do one thing and I jump right into my connection, well, then I'm losing myself and I'm going to feel like stuck. I'm almost like I'm in a box. Like I start going into this freeze mode where it's like I have to be doing this thing. I care about this person, but I feel like I'm going through the motions because I haven't tuned in. And I'm someone that can actually go overboard in doing for others. So I actually have to like err on the side of making sure that I go inward first, making sure I take space. Whenever I feel that I have to have an answer for that loved one's question right now, or I have to do like this loved one's mad and I have to show up right now, that's usually me abandoning myself and me not going inward. So when there's anything happening, what I've learned, my practice has been taking space, putting space around my body, around my emotion, to let myself feel what I feel. And then once I feel what I feel, it's easier for me to tap into somebody else and be intimate with someone else. But I gotta ground myself first. Like that is the practice. That is the work.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, what I'm hearing as you're speaking is a sort of either a slowing down or creating enough space for your emotions and your feelings to arise, rather than just pushing them aside. Like almost that there's the one of the signals of abandoning yourself is that you don't pay enough attention you don't give enough attention either to yourself or to your feelings, or maybe even your little girl if you identify as that, like some part of you that really that is really trying to tell you something, or the rest of you, and maybe that part needs to feel like there's enough space for to trust that that's going to be heard.
And in order to be like fully turned on and juicy, I have to have the anchor in my body. And this is something that I've been returning to, because every one of my relationships, like I'm in 2 significant relationships with my husband and with somebody else that I've been dating for like the last 2 months or something. I'm excited to talk about it, but I haven't talked about it. So it's like very vulnerable for me to share it. But so like I've recognized that each of those connections can go south, can suck, and can be scary, where I'm triggered and I'm like, why? You don't like me? Or about like both of them. And I realized a lot of it has to do with if I go out of my anchor, if I go out of my experience and go into somebody else's experience, ignoring myself, defaulting into what somebody else is feeling, well, then I'm going to feel kind of shitty. I'm going to lose my sense of power and lose my sense of self. So what saved me and what has made my relationships better is somebody being in anxiety and me learning how to be there for myself and take care of myself, even if somebody else's anxiety or upset or happy or not happy. Like really giving myself the space to look at someone, appreciate them, but not have to feel what they feel. That has been something that actually creates deeper intimacy with people, because I'm actually in my body and I'm showing up as myself instead of this like chameleon that is just here to make you feel better right now.
Yeah. So I'm going to go to our last question because very soon I'm going to have to I'm going to go into a different call with the illustrious Lori Handlers. That's going to be
Lori.
11 o'clock. Lori's amazing. And you just deliver more information in 10-second flat than most people I know. So we've already covered a lot in like 15 minutes. Amazing. So my last question is, and I know you're like big on self-responsibility, or at least that's the way it occurs as I'm listening to you. Like this sort of like, I'm going to take care of myself, and and I have to rise up to the occasion that I want for people that I want people around me to rise up to. So my question to you is, in the context of open relating and empowered relationships, how do you recommend the partner of someone like you to show up for you to be your best self?
So your question is, how would I like my partner to show up so I can be my best self?
Yeah. Like how do you expect this new love to show up for you, or not expect, but what would be the best way for them to show up with you so that you can do all the things you just said that you want to be responsible for, creating your own space and so on. And same thing for Steve. Like, what's the best way for Steve to show up with you and take responsibility for, his side of it, if you want to look at it that way. But I look at it more as, how do you take responsibility for the empowered relationship that you want to create together as a beautiful, graceful engagement?
What turns me on more than anything is a partner that is really honest about where they don't feel strong or don't know or need something but not sure what it is. It's like, instead of like lashing out at me or avoiding me or going numb or going like grabbing for my throat in anger, which is just like a symbol, nobody has like attacked me, right? Like actually being honest about the fact that, wow, I don't know how to relate, or I'm feeling this thing and I don't know what it is. So it's really somebody who's really vulnerable and raw and can own their feelings, so I don't have to, and I don't have to figure it out. That is super fucking sexy. So when people do their work, like my husband just did a personal development program and he came home to me and he was like, I have this thing that I've been holding back from you and I'm sorry. I'm like, thank you. Like there's nothing more that you can give me than telling me something that I've already been feeling that's been creating anxiety that you keep denying. So like own your shit, do your personal work, like tell me as soon as you get it, and be honest about the fact that maybe you don't know, but something's happening and you're not ready to talk about it. Like that, oh God, that turns me on more than anything else.
So showing up with vulnerability. And is there a way? Is there a way that they can show you with skill and with presence and with, I mean, besides what I just said, like how to be present with someone who is doing their best to take their space? Is it just simply to just not push them, or just to allow them to have that space that they need? Does that make a difference?
So your question is, if someone's showing up, if someone is in like this weird place where they need space, or as I get in those weird spaces too. Is that what you're asking?
Well, if you get to a place, if you have a tendency to go to a place of forgetting yourself, like what's the best way for somebody to be with you in that context?
Oh, yeah. I would say like celebrate me when I'm like taking time for myself. Like, like, we have a day planned together and you wanted to take like an hour or 30 minutes to meditate. Like that's fucking hot. That turned me on. Like thank you for saying this, because I'm actually going to go have a check-in in like my new relationship now. And maybe I'll say that, like, if you see me taking time for myself, like celebrate me. And instead of like making it something wrong, like It's not wrong. It's actually making me better. So every moment with you, I'm actually more present in my body and I'm more available than I was if I was trying to be the good wife, girlfriend, like I was before. Yeah. And this is actually this is the heart of my work that I do in coaching, which is teaching women how to really let go of that good girl image and embrace their full raw authenticity and enjoy their lives to the fullest capacity.
Yeah, and the impact that, and also being willing to see the impact that it has on others and letting them own up to the impact that it has on them.
Exactly. That's something that I actually have to learn. And to me, dropping into more trust, like I'm always finding more trust, like everything's going to work out. Even if there's an argument, even if there's some confusion or weird energy, like I just trust that it's going to be worked out, and this relationship is going to last in this way for as long as it's meant to last. And it's a lot of trust. It's like a terrifying place to be, but also this really juicy, like authentic, fun place to be as well.
Wow, beautiful. I love your freshly fucked hairdo. That just came out.
I love that you call it that. I think that's why I got this haircut, actually. To tell you the truth, look at this bad boy.
That's great.
That is totally
it's a boy.
When I look at my hair.
Thank you so much, Maria. We have to go.
Okay.
and upcoming next is going to be Lori Handlers. If you look in the comments of the live post, there's going to be there's the next live there, the links to the previous live source yesterday and the live for in a short bit is going to be there.
And my class is the 16th of January.
Oh yeah, January 16th. That's it. So you're going to be there. If you take the class, you don't have to be present for all the classes. It's 14 weeks. That can be hard for people during the holidays. So you can show up. There's going to be a community board that you can post and be engaged with. And
I'm so excited. I'm going to be there. I'm going to take the class and teach the class because I need to win polyamory. I'm going to win it.
Yeah. Well, and winning it's such a multidimensional engagement. And
it really is.
I love that you love geeking out on this stuff. If people want to get a hold of you, I imagine you'll be posting some links on this particular live post. There's also the link to the class itself. It's openlove.teachable.com. You can click, and there's a link on the post itself. And then what else? What else we got? Yeah, tell us tell us about your offerings, Maria.
Yeah, okay. So I do one-on-one coaching with women, and I work with women who, like I said before, are really letting go of that archetype of being a good girl and are just tired of I'm tired of listening to everybody else. I'm really ready to be this turned on, alive being where every moment is a reflection of what I want instead of what I think I should want or what somebody else said. It's no, it's what I want, and I get to create from that sense of worthiness. So that is the heart of the coaching that I do. And I work with a small group of women 6 months and year long. So if you're interested in working with me, click the link below and we'll set up a consult and we'll start talking about whether or not we're a good fit.
Amazing. I'm hearing, as you speak, I'm hearing sort of shedding layers so that you're more authentic. What's left is more you or more closely who you are as a person, so that when people engage with you, they really know who they're engaging with. And I certainly have that experience with you.
Exactly. And it might be polyamory, it might not be, it could be whatever you want. It's just about creating a life that works for you. When people start working with me, it's I don't even know what I want. The first step is allowing self to want, just giving yourself permission to want at all. What does it feel like to start having desire, to start waking up my emotions in my body, giving myself permission to hunger. Once we get our hunger back, then we can figure out, okay, wow, I know that I'm hungry now, how delicious it is to be hungry. Now I can start thinking about how do I really want to feed myself instead of compulsively feeding myself what society says. Amazing.
You're amazing. Love chatting with you, and I think we're gonna have to do more of those sort of unscripted chats.
Yeah, let's do that
during the course. There's gonna be a lot of bonus material that's gonna be showing up because our co-teachers are amazing, and they have a lot more things to say than what is going to be available in each sort of 2-hour chunks for each week. So come and join us. If you're trying to do open relationship, polyamory, or non-monogamy, please don't do it alone. Do it with a group. Do it with some people you know. If it's not,
don't do it alone.
Don't do it alone.
I wish this was available to me back when I was fucking things up and blowing things up to rebuild.
I mean, it's such a new field that people forget that there are other people doing the same thing. And there's a big community called the Open Relationship Community that I can connect you with. Anyway, reach out to me, reach out to Maria if you have questions. The Facebook post has all the information you need to join the class. Oh, and if you want to join with a friend or lover or partner, use the Friends and Lover discount code. I think you can use it anyway because you're in a relationship with someone. So use it. Get a $100 discount and join us for the class that's starting next Wednesday at 8 o'clock Pacific time.
I'm excited.
Thanks, Maria.
Thank you. Talk to you.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.